Hello and welcome to another video on my channel. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who supports my channel and watches my videos, likes or comments on one of my videos. I really appreciate the support. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience doing crochet flowers for the first time. This year was my nan's 90th birthday and I wanted to give her something special for her birthday. There's not much that she wants or needs, so this was more about creating her something that she would really enjoy. And she loves flowers, so a crochet bouquet was the perfect present. I had never crocheted flowers before, and in fact I had never crocheted using a hook or yarn this small. So this was a fully new experience for me. I will show a picture of the final bouquet at the end, so stick around if you want to see the final result. When I started exploring this concept and doing my research into crochet flowers, I came across a company called Hook OK. After seeing their patterns, I knew that I was going to use their patterns because they were absolutely beautiful, but I was going to DIY the supplies, essentially. Go and buy the yarn and the stems and the wire myself to make the flowers. However, I ended up just buying a kit from Hook OK. This was down to a couple of things. Firstly, due to the fact that this was the first time I was making crochet flowers, I didn't quite know what type of yarn was best for this project. The yarn that I first brought from my local store for this project was far too silky and smooth and was also too thick. The yarn that I thought I might use to start with was this Women's Institute soft and cuddly yarn. It's a DK weight yarn and it is really soft and really smooth. I did actually make up some trial pieces using this yarn and one of the patterns from the Hook OK website to just get a sense of what it would be like to create these flowers. This was one of the petals that I worked up using this yarn, and this was a second one that I worked up using a slightly smaller hook. Overall, using this yarn just didn't give a tight enough fabric, and because of the silkiness of the yarn, it just wasn't going to work for this project. The colours are also really bright in the colours that I could get, but I also couldn't get a wide range of colours to be able to create the flowers that I wanted to create. Due to work and life and ending up being on a bit of a time restriction, I decided that it would just be easier to order a kit from Hook OK, get all the supplies that I needed all in one go, the correct type of yarn, and just go from there. At the time of ordering the kit, I had about 7 weeks before I needed to have this bouquet complete. However, at the time of starting the project, I only had about 17 days left to complete this project. This was due to just life, work, holidays, a busy summer that just ate into my time and meant that I couldn't start the project when I wanted to. By the time I actually started this project, time had become quite tight. I was still working and I just had to put every other project aside and focus solely on this project. For this project, I used the yarn that came with the kit. I will put a picture in from the Hook OK website of the yarn that they supply with their kits. It ended up being a really nice stiff yarn which was perfect for this project, and I used a 2mm hook which they sent me within the kit. What was really important to me for this project was that I included my nan's favourite flowers. She really loves roses, carnations and lavender. When looking at the kits on the website, I couldn't find a kit that contained carnations, roses and lavender all in one kit, but I wanted to make sure I included all three of those flowers in the final project. I ended up ordering 2 different kits and 1 additional pattern. This was kit number 1, a pink kit that included the pattern for the rose that I wanted. This was kit number 2, the purple kit that included the pattern for the lavender that I wanted, and separately I ordered this carnation pattern. The decision to buy 2 kits was purely so that I could make this perfect for my nan. I probably could have brought separately the rose pattern, the yarn and the other supplies, but at this point I just wanted to buy a kit and know that I had everything I needed to make this perfect for my nan. When picking the two kits, I obviously made sure that I got the flowers that I wanted, and then after that I just looked at the other flowers within these kits and decided to buy the two kits that contained the flowers I wanted but had the widest variety of other flowers within them, so that I could in future use these other patterns to make other flowers or bouquets for myself or other people in my life that I know would enjoy them. The kit came with everything I needed in it, and after the craziness of the beginning of the summer, I started working on this project. When I started working on these flowers, it took me a few tries to get to understand the pattern with the videos and get into the swing of creating these flowers. Here I'll put a few different clips of me working on the flowers and having to frog the petals because they just weren't right. Overall, I did have a few issues with some of the patterns in this kit that made it a little bit tricky for me to work with. I think part of that comes down to my experience and my understanding of written patterns, especially as I am more of a visual learner, and some of it comes down to the wording within the patterns. An example of that here is in the lavender pattern, where it talks about picot stitches in the first line, but in row 1 there isn't any picot stitches. I spent a really long time trying to figure out what picot stitch it was talking about, even though that row didn't contain a picot stitch. Eventually, using the video and the pattern combined, I did manage to figure it out, but this was just an example of where I struggled with one of these patterns. Overall, once I got into the swing of these patterns, they worked up really nicely and created some really beautiful flowers. I think overall the carnation was my favourite flower to work up. I really enjoy hyperbolic crochet and the increase that creates the folds in the crochet, so overall this was my favourite flower to work up. But I think overall the aesthetic of the rose and the lavender are my favourites because they just worked up so nicely. Here's a couple of clips of me working up the petals and the leaves for the roses. Here's a couple of clips of me working up the petals and the leaves for the lavender. Here's a couple of clips of me working up the flower and the leaves for the carnation. Here's a couple of clips of me working up the daisy pattern. Here's a clip of me assembling the rose. Here's a clip of me assembling the carnation. Here's a clip of me assembling the lavender. All the items from this kit worked up really nicely, and they supplied everything you need to make them stable and really nice. I did need to use a couple of extra tools from what they gave me to work up the final products. That included some pliers and a hot glue gun. In the end, I made 2 roses, 6 lavender, 4 carnation, 2 sets of daisies, and some extra greenery to balance out the bouquet. I don't have the flowers and the final bouquet with me because they have already been given as a gift as of filming this video. Here's some pictures of the final flowers. And here's a picture of the final bouquet. And this is a picture of the bouquet wrapped and ready to go to my nan. When I gave the bouquet to my nan, she was really happy to receive this as a gift, and it took her a few seconds to realise that these were actually crocheted flowers. I also brought some lavender oil to just drop on top of the lavenders, just to make the bouquet smell like flowers as well, and this worked really nicely. I was really glad I did this because it just added a little extra to the bouquet. Overall, I really enjoyed this project, and I would be really excited in future to create more flowers. Because I brought 2 large kits, I do have some leftover yarn and materials to create more flowers, and I'm excited to create myself a little lavender bouquet to go within my house. In the future, I definitely want to create more bouquets because they just turned out so beautiful and so lovely. I really hope you enjoyed this video of me talking about creating a bouquet of flowers for the first time. If you would like to see me do more voiced videos, please let me know by liking and commenting on this video. I'm already working on other projects that could be videos like this one, so please let me know if you prefer these voiced videos. Thank you to everyone who watches and supports my channels.